Okay, for our topic today, it will be about instrumentation. So in instrumentation, we'll be discussing about the principles on how analytes are measured and some of the machines and equipments that are used in the clinical laboratory. Okay, so starting with light. So light is an electromagnetic radiation with a range of wavelength between 390 and 770 nanometers. So it is measured in nanometers. So it is capable of stimulating the subjective sensation of light. So usually the visual range is approximately around 400 to 700 nanometers, meaning we can only see the light that is between this wavelength. If it is less than 400 nanometers, we call it ultraviolet or it belongs to the ultraviolet region or yung UV, yung ginagamit natin for the sanitation or disinfection. 700 nanometers or greater than 700 nanometers, it is in the infrared region. So yung infrared, it is beyond na sa capacity natin makita and it is usually used in remote controls. It usually transfers signals or kung alam niyo or naabutan niyo pa or nakagamit kayo, yung mga cellphone na may mga infrared pa. Okay? So sila yung ginagamit noon before pa Bluetooth, before pa share it. Yan. So ito muna yung ginagamit to transfer or to send data or pang Bluetooth or pang pasa ng ating information noon. Okay, so our wave or light has different parts. So we start with an amplitude. So it is the distance from the midpoint of the crest or through to the midpoint of the variation or vibration. Next, we have crest. So crest is high points of the wave. Pag through naman is the low point of the wave. Wavelength is the distance between top of one crest to the top of the next one. So yung pagitan ng ating dalawang crests. Frequency is how often the vibration occurs. So the lower the wave frequency, the longer the wavelength. Okay, so ito yun. So ang tawag natin dito, ito yung ating crest. Ito naman yung ating through. Ito yung crest, it's high point, it's through is the lowest point. So yung amplitude natin is yung pagitan ng crest tsaka ng midpoint ng ating wave. Well, yung ating wavelength is the distance between a top of the crest or yung tuktok ng ating wave or the crest to another crest. So, isang wavelength natin to. So, pagbagal or pagbaba ng frequency, paghaba ng ating wavelength. Okay? So, kanina nabanggit natin yung ating visible light or visible spectrum. It's only within 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. Anything before and beyond, hindi na natin kayang makita. Okay? So, between 400 to 700 nanometers, it contains different colors. Okay? So, pagka binasag natin yung light, pag hiniwalay natin or hinimay-himay yung ating white light, it gives different colors depending on the wavelength. Anything below 400 nanometers is ultraviolet. Hindi na natin kita. Yan is usually for, yun nga, for ating sterilization. Ginagamit natin si UV light or anything below pa doon. Next, anything above is infrared region na. Again, hindi na natin siya kita. Yung colors na nabanggit natin, it has a corresponding wavelength. So in 400 to 435 nanometers, color violet. 435 to 500 is color blue. 500 to 570 it's color green. 570 to 600 it's yellow. 600 to 630 it's orange. And 630 to 700 is red. Okay, so ito na yung ating mga principles in the measurement of our analytes. First, we have photometry. So photometry, it measures the intensity of light lang. So yun lang. It's the very basic, very simple lang nating photometry. So light from a light bulb, so meron tayong light source, contains the entire visible spectrum. So yung materials absorbed light at one wavelength and reflects the other parts of the spectrum. So yung ilaw, patatamain natin sa isang bagay. Now that material of that object will absorb light. hindi lahat ng light kaya niyang i-absorb. So may wavelength siyang may i-reflect, may ibalik. So yun yung ating sinusukat. Okay? So in reflectance photometry, it measures light reflected from solid surfaces. So yung principle natin kung paano siya gumagana. So light is directed on unpolished surface, unpolished solid surface. So kasi pag polished, mas makintab, mas madami nare-reflect. So usually naman yung mga atin sa laboratory is unpolished yung ginagamitan ng reflectance photometry. So some of that light is absorbed while the rest is reflected. Again, hindi kayang i-absorb lahat. Yung iba doon sa ilaw or sa wavelength natin is i-reflect or ibabalik. Now that light reflected is measured with the detector and the filter. So detector yung ginagamit natin para mabilang, masukat kung gaano kadami yung ilaw na ibinalik. Okay? Yung ilaw kasi it's in the form of energy pa din. So the more light absorbed, the less light reflected. So pag dami ng ilaw na inabsorb ng ating material, konti na lang ibabalik niya. Ganon din magkabaliktad. Pag konti lang yung inabsorb, mas marami ang marereflect na ilaw. In reflectance, it is non-linear or magkabaliktad, magkasalungat siya. Therefore, a microprocessor is used to transform the data into a linear response. So yung light na pinasa ng ating detector from the light that is reflected will be calculated or i-compute ng ating reflector para makuha yung concentration natin. Okay, saan ba ginagamit sa reflectance photometry? One example is in reagent pads. Okay, alam niyo po or tanda niyo yung ating urine strips. Ayan. Di ba yung urine strips natin, may mga pad. Ayan. Per pad, di ba, nag-absorb siya ng analyte, may color. So, paano natin to binabasa kapag manual? Tinatapat natin siya dun sa bote. Tapos dun sa bote, may kulay-kulay. Tapos andito sa taas yung concentration natin. Okay, so isa-isa yan. Kung 100 samples, isa-isa mong titingnan lahat. Now, we have machines or automatic strip readers na isasalang or lalagay lang natin dun sa kanyang sample area at doon na natin automatic babasahin na nung machine. So, meron tayong light source. Okay, so ito yung light source natin. It is producing light or yung bulb natin. So, it will direct light towards the pad. Ito po yung isang urine strip natin or yung ating pad. So, ito po yun. Ito, yan, parehas na po. Yan, nakahiga lang. Now, yung ilaw, tatama dun sa ating reagent strips or yung sa ating pad, and it will absorb light. So, depende sa intensity, depende kung gaano kadami yung concentration ng ating analyte. For example, kung yung glucose. So, kung gaano kadami yung glucose dito, it will absorb and some of the light will be reflected. Pag-reflect ng ilaw, babasahin na siya ng ating detector. Now, our detector will transmit the information to our microprocessor. Now, this microprocessor will calculate and will give us the result. Okay, so mabilis lang yan. It usually takes 1 minute. Tapos sunod-sunod pa yung ating pagsala. So hindi na natin siya mano-mano or manual babasahin kada pad. Next, we have spectrophotometry. So spectrophotometry involves measurement of light transmitted by a solution. Okay, solution na to kanina, solid surface. So to determine the concentration of light absorbing substance in the solution. So, depende kung gaano kadami yung concentration ng ating analyte or ng ating substance na gusto sukatin, kung gaano kadami yung ilaw na matatransmit. It measures the light intensity in a narrower wavelength. Kanina sa reflectance photometry or sa photometry, regardless kung anong wavelength. Dito, sa spectrophotometry, binabasag na natin yung wavelength. Yung wavelength yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, yung ating mga nanometer. So usually, we select a specific wavelength per analyte na gusto nating sukatin. So it measures the array of light or radiant energy absorbed or transmitted. So depende dun sa machine na gamit natin if ang bibigay niya sa iyo is transmitted light or absorbed light na. So kinocompute lang naman yun eh. So it measures light transmitted by the analyte in order to determine the concentration of the light absorbing analytes. Again, kapag na-absorb kasi yung ating light, hindi na siya ma-transmit. So, depende kung gaano kadami yung ma-absorb na ilaw, kung gaano kadami na lang yung babalik at yung ating susukatin ng ating mga machine. Okay? So, ito, on your left part, ito, ang sinaunang spectro. Okay? So, dito, manual mong iseset yung wavelength, tapos dito mo ilalagay yung ating sample. So, pwede dito yata ilalagay yung sample. So, lagyan natin yung sample. Then, you adjust yung ating wavelength at saka siya babasahin. Pagdating dito sa medyo modern na spectrophotometer natin, you select the wavelength na gusto mo. So, dito po. Yan, meron tayo nito sa laboratory. Gagamitin nyo to during your laboratory activities. So, dito you just select kung anong wavelength yung gusto mo. May screen ito. Dito ipapakita sa iyo yung absorbance na. Okay? Automatic. Nakakompute na dito kung ano yung kanyang absorbance. Ito yung ating sample. Naka-cuvette tayo. So, dito natin ilalagay yung ating sample. So, suksok lang dyan, diretso. After isuksok dyan, babasahin siya. May light source to sa loob. Babasahin yung absorbance at usually ipiprint na niya. Okay? Yan. So, dito, pwedeng manual pa rin na absorbance, then saka mo i-compute or pwede mo siyang i-program para diretso na makukuha mo na yung concentration ng ating analyte. Ito sa taas, these are incubators. Pwede nyong ilagay yung mga cuvette na ini-incubate natin. Depende kung gaano katagal. So, pag i-measure, dito na yung ating sample. Okay. So, we have types of spectrophotometer. We have the single beam spectrophotometer. So this is the simplest type of absorption spectrophotometer. It is designed to make one measurement at one time, at one specified wavelength. So parang ganito. Yan. So isang sample, isang wavelength, sa isang analyte. So isa-isa to, mano-mano talaga. Okay? So the absorption maximum of the analyte must be known in advance when a single beam instrument is used. Yung ating maximum kasi, yan, may limit lang yung kayang basahin ng ating machines, especially if it is linear. For example, ganito siya. Yan. So, ito yung ating light kasi. Yan. May limit lang talaga siya kung ano yung kaya niyang basahin. So, yung, halimbawa, hanggang dito lang. Let's say this is 50 and this is 100. Kapag na-reach natin yung limit, so ganito yung itsura niya. Halimbawa, ulit, ito is, yan. Ito yung 100. Ito yung 50. Ito yung actual limits natin. So, pag na-reach niya kasi yung limit, wala na. Yan. Ganito na lang yung itsura niya. Flat na. Meaning, parehas na ng resulta na ibinibigay sa'yo, yun nandito. Okay? Pero supposedly, mas mataas dapat yung concentration nito. Pero since yung limit nga natin hanggang dito lang, ito, binabasa na lang din siya na 100 din. Pero ito po ay mas mataas pa talaga sa 100. Okay, so you must know the limit of your procedure. Yung ating maximum and lower limit and upper limits ng ating procedure. In double beam spectrophotometer, an instrument that splits monochromatic light into two components. So one beam passes through the sample and the other passes through a reference solution or a blank. Meaning, dalawa yung kayang i-measure nito sabay. Pero isang sample pa din. So, one sample at a time. Ang kasabay lang natin dito is either the reference solution or a blank. Okay? So, the additional beam corrects for variation in light source intensity. Okay? So, ganitong itsura nun. So, in a double beam spectrophotometer, so tawag natin dito double beam in space. Okay? Pag double beam in space, dalawa yung photodetector. One for each sample beam and one from the reflectance beam. Okay? So, ganito yung itsura niya. Ito yung ating light source. Ito yung ating light bulb. Yan. Light source or light bulb. So ito yung magbibigay ng liwanag. Okay? So to control the light that passes through the sample, meron tayong mga slit or mga openings. Okay? So entrance slit, exit slit. Okay? So yung light, itataboy or patatamain natin papapasok din sa entrance slit, pupunta siya sa prism. Si prism po ay isang part ng ating machine that separates the light that we need. So, depende kung anong wavelength. Okay? Or in nanometers. So, we select what wavelength or what nanometers to determine anong ilaw yung dadaan. And meron tayong exit slit naman to control yung light na lalabas dito. Kasi syempre, sabog pa din po iyan, yung ilaw niya. Okay? Para lang controlled at alam natin kung ano yung light lang na lalabas, we have the exit slit. Now, we have a beam splitter or panghiwalay. So, para yung isa sa sample cell, yung isa sa reflectance cell natin or sa reagent blank. Okay, so sabay natin siya. We have a detector para sa sample at we have a detector para sa reference cell. Then, ko-compute na siya using a formula in our laboratory. So may formula tayo, may computation tayong gagawin. Iko-compute niya yan eh. Ito kasi ang absorbance of sample, then this is the absorbance of standard. Okay? Yung reference cell natin, ito ay fixed. Itong sample cell naman natin, ito yung per analyte na ating i-measure. Okay? Kapag double beam in time naman, so it uses only one photodetector, isa lang. And it alternately passes through the monochromatic light. It alternately passes the monochromatic light through the sample cuvette and the reference cuvette. So isa lang. So yung light source natin, again, it will give light sa monochromator and translit. Yan. So yung rotating disk natin, it controls the light kung saan siya pupunta. If it goes or pupunta po ba siya, pupunta sa sample cell natin or pupunta sa mirror para pumunta sa reference cell natin. So isa-isa lang. So halimbawa, measure muna natin si sample cell, tapos lilipat na, pipihit siya, pupunta naman sa reference cell. Tapos yung ating detector, yan. So, detector natin, isa lang din and it will calculate na yung ating solution or concentration of our analyte. Okay. So, ito po yung sinasabi nating parts kanina. First, we have light source. So, it provides the polychromatic light. Ano yung light source natin? Ayan. So, ganito. So, it provides light kung saan ito yung ating energy source. So it must generate sufficient and consistent radiant energy or power to measure the analyte of interest. So an intense beam of light is directed through the monochromator and the sample. To give accurate absorbance, measurements throughout its absorbance range, it's responsible to change in intensity must be linear. Okay, so dapat linear yung ating mga measurement dito. So may dalawa tayong types ng ating light source. We have a continuum source. So kapag continuum source, it emits radiation that changes in intensity. Okay? So in continuum source, it is the most widely used in the laboratory. Example natin, tungsten, halogen or iodide lamp. So kapag tungsten, it is commonly used for visible to near infrared regions. So medyo pataas yung ating measurement or yung ating wavelength dito. Visible, ano ba yung visible? So 400 papuntang 700 or near infrared region. Kapag deuterium lamp naman, it provides UV radiation. So mababa yung wavelength natin dito. Kapag xenon naman, it produces a continuum source of energy which covers both UV and visible range. So depende kasi kung alin dito yung ating kailangan na wavelength. Minsan naman hindi natin kailangan yung mababa kasi mataas na wavelength yung kailangan natin. Next, we have line source. So it emits limited radiation and wavelength. Konti lang yung kaya niya. So it is used in atomic absorption, molecular or fluorescence spectroscopy. Example natin, we have mercury and sodium vapor lamps, as well as laser. So ang laser po is an acronym with the meaning of light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Okay? So usually natatanong sa mga exams, sa board exams, yung mga meaning ng ganitong mga abbreviations. Okay, next part. Again, nabanggit natin kanina, we have the entrance slit. So it minimizes unwanted or stray light and prevents the entrance of scattered light into the monochromator system. Ano ba yung stray light? So it is any wavelength outside the band transmitted by the monochromator. So it does not originate from the polychromatic light source. So it causes absorbance error. Tingnan natin dito. Yan. So, yung entrance slit natin, syempre kasi may mga ilaw pa rin tayo sa lab. May ilaw tayo sa ceiling natin, sa ating mga light source, mga microscope, minsan sa cellphone may ilaw pa din. So, pwede kasing pumasok, stray light na yung tawag natin doon. Pwedeng pumasok papunta dito sa ating prism at makakaabala siya. Yung light source kasi fixed, naka-fix yung ilaw niyan. So, calculated yan or yung ating computations kasi is based on light. So, kapag biglang tumaas or nag-fluctuate yung ilaw, kasi nagkaroon ng ilaw or light from other sources, it will affect the result or it will affect the concentration. Now, to prevent that, yung ating entrance slit, ang pinapapasok lang niya is light from our light source. Okay? It prevents other light from entering and going into our prism. Okay? Again, it causes absorbance error. It limits the maximum absorbance that a spectrophotometer can achieve, and most common cause of loss of linearity at high analyte concentration. Next, monochromator. So it isolates a specific wavelength of light. So we have different types of monochromator. First is a prism. So a prism is a wedge-shaped piece of glass, quartz, or sodium chloride. So it can be rotated. So iniikot siya or pinipihit, allowing only the desired wavelength to pass through the exit slit. So pwede nating piliin, we can determine or select what wavelength we want to use in our measurement. So a narrow light focused on a prism is refracted as it enters the more dense glass. So, ano po bang itsura ng ating prism? Ayan, ito. Or yung parang yung mga sasalamin natin sa bintana, di ba? Yung at a specific angle nakikita natin na nahihiwalay or nababasag yung mga colors. Okay? So yung prism natin, ayan, glass siya, na pag pinatamaan ng light source, we can select or depende sa bato ng ilaw kung anong color yung ating makukuha. Ayan, ito sa example natin. So ito yung prism, yung white light. Syempre, yung white light po natin is a combination of the lights or colors of the light that we can see. Yan. So, depende sa angle kung anong color yung wavelength na makukuha natin. Yan. So, automatic ina-adjust naman na to ng machine kung prism yung gamit niya to select the specific wavelength. In selecting the specific wavelength, numbers yung ginagamit natin dito. Hindi pa nabanggit natin kanina anong color yung kasama or sa specific wavelength natin. Okay? Ayan. So, sa example pa, yung white light, tumama sa prism. Now, at a specific angle, iba't iba yung kanyang color. Diffraction grating. So, it is the most commonly used. It has better resolution than a prism. Mas madali or mas maganda yung kanyang basag ng kulay. It is made by cutting grooves or slits into an aluminized surface of a flat piece of ground glass. So wavelengths are bent as they pass a sharp corner. So it's made up of grooves for refraction and slits for diffraction. Okay? So ganito yung example niya. Again, patatamaan natin ng ilaw, incident light or yung light natin. Pag tama doon sa diffraction gratings natin, it will separate the light depending on the groove or the slit So, kung anong light yung ating kailangan. Ayan. Ayan. So, meron din siya. Depende po kung ano yung ating kailangan. Again, yung ating entrance or exit slit na. Kasi di ba pumasok na. So, entrance slit dito kanina. So, exit slit natin, again, it will determine which wavelength we want to select. Ito na. Ayan. Yes. For example, ito lang yung gusto nating i-isolate. Yan. So, exit slit natin, tatakpan na to. Yan. Tatakpan na din to. So, papasok na lang sa machine natin ay yung ilaw na gusto natin. So, yun yung exit slit. Mamaya nandun yung ating definition. Pero nandito kasi mas madali siyang ipakita yung ating exit slit. Okay? Next, we have filter. So, filters are simplest, least expensive, and least precise. Okay? So it's made by placing semi-transparent silver films on both sides of a dielectric, such as a magnesium fluoride. It produces monochromatic light based on the principle of constructive interferences of waves. So light waves on either side, and the filter is reflected on the second surface. Ayan. So kagaya po ito ng mga nilalagay natin sa lens or sa ating mga camera. So, pwede pong ganitong shape yung ating filter or pag ganito. So, ito is casing lang naman to. Ito talaga yung ating filter sa loob. Ito lang yung dinadaanan ng ating mga ilaw. So, depending on what wavelength you will need, yun yung filter na ilalagay mo. So, nandito naman kung anong wavelength yung kanyang kayang i-produce. Exit slit, ayan. So, it controls the width of the light beam. So bandpass is the total range of wavelength transmitted. So accurate absorbance measurement requires a bandpass less than 1/5 of the natural bandpass of the spectrophotometer. The spectral purity of the spectrophotometer is reflected by the bandpass. So the narrower the bandpass, the greater the resolution. So it allows only a narrow fraction of the spectrum to reach the sample cuvette. Ayan, kagaya nito. So halimbawa itong color red natin na pinukulay, ito yung exit slit. Okay? So, we only determine or select, pinapayagan lang natin is yung konting light na pumasok kasi ito lang yung kailangan natin for the measurement. Okay? Cuvette. So, cuvette holds the solution to which concentration is measured. Ito na yung pinaglalagyan natin ng sample. So, it is also called absorption, analytical, or sample set. Okay, so we have different types of our cuvettes. So yung cuvettes, depende if ang gamit ng machine ninyo is yung bubog or plastic. So usually pag bubog, it's either manual yung lilinisin or merong automatic na panghugas or pangwash yung ating machine. Meron namang disposable, di automatic after gamitin, discard na. Okay? So alumina silicate glass or silicate glass, it is the most commonly used. Can be used in 350 to 2000 nanometers. So it transmits light effectively at wavelengths less than 200 nanometers. So quartz and plastic. So it is used for the measurement of a solution requiring visible and ultraviolet spectra. So depende pa din again kung anong wavelength yung gagamitin natin doon sa at saka yung cuvette na gagamitan natin. Okay? Hindi pwedeng gamitin yung cuvette na hindi naman kaya para doon sa mababang wavelength natin. So ito kasi 350 to 2000 nanometers, medyo pataas to. So ito naman is a visible to ultraviolet, so lower part of the wavelength natin. We have borosilicate glass for alkaline solutions. If alkaline yung ating solution or reagents na ginamit sa sample, we can use borosilicate. So alkaline solutions should not be left standing in cuvettes because alkali slowly dissolves gas and produces etching. Nagagasgas yung glass natin. Pag nagasgas yung glass, papangit yung reflectance, papangit yung ating resulta. Mawawala na siya doon sa ating transmittance and absorption of light. Soft glass for acidic solutions naman. Again, kagaya ng ating previous discussion, may specific tayong ginagamit per solution na ating susukatin. Next, we have photodetector. So this detects the amount of light that passes through the sample and the cuvette. So detects and converts transmitted light into photoelectric energy. So from light, papunta sa energy. Okay, so different types of photodetector. We have barrier cell, photocell, or photovoltaic cell. So it is the simplest detector, least expensive, and temperature sensitive. Ginagamit siya as filters, used in filter photometers with wide bandpass. So basic phototransducer that is used for detecting and measuring radiation of the visible region. So composed of selenium on a plate of iron covered with a transparent layer of silver. So pag-absorb kasi ito, pagbasa, pag-receive ng light na ating transmitted. So it has a maximum sensitivity at about 550 nanometers. And response falls off by 10% to the maximum at the maximum at 550 to 750 nanometers. Maganda siyang gamitin kapag 550 nanometers. Pwede siyang gamitin hanggang sa 350 to 750 nanometers pero sala na yung kanyang sensitivity by 10%. Okay, lumalayo na. Okay? So, abot pa gamitin hanggang dito pero it does not guarantee the good or the quality of the result. So, if 550 pwedeng gamitin, if hindi 550 ang measurement mo, gumamit ka na lang ng ibang photodetector. Phototube. It contains a cathode and an anode enclosed in a glass. It has photosensitive materials that give off electron when light energy strikes it. So it requires external voltage for operation. So kailangan pa niya ng additional power supplier or power source. Photomultiplier tube, so also called as PMT. It is the most commonly used photodetector or detector. It measures visible and UV region. Excellent sensitivity and rapid response because it detects very low level of light. So, ibig sabihin kahit konti lang yung light produce, kayang basahin ng photomultiplier tube. Ang problema, it is limited to measuring low power radiation. Okay, konti lang or mahina dapat. Kasi intense light causes irreversible damage to the photoelectric surface. Kapag sobrang lakas or liwanag, masisira or masusunog yung ating photomultiplier tube. Ayan o, may be burned out if exposed to room light. So yung normal ilaw lang, kasi it multiplies, pinapadami niya. Yung kaya kahit konting liwanag lang, kaya niyang sukatan kasi it multiplies it to the calculations. Now, kapag sobrang lakas ng liwanag, masusunog or masisira yung ating photo detector. Photodiode. So it is not as sensitive as a photomultiplier tube but with excellent linearity. Again, ang linearity po is kung gaano kataas yung kaya niyang measure. Okay? Yung limit natin, for example, this is 0 to 1,000. Pagganda po ng linearity, paghaba ng ating kayang sukatin or concentration ng ating analyte. So it measures the light at a multitude of wavelengths but detects less amount of light. So it has lower dynamic range and higher noise compared to PMT. So it is the most useful as it stimulates mechanical detector. Readout device. So ito na po yung ating parang screen or monitor. So it displays the output of the detection system. Example, galvanometer, ammeter, or LED display. Ito na po yung nakikita natin. For example, monitor. Ayan. Ito na yung makikita natin or yung display. Kung saan makikita natin yung concentration or yung ating absorbance ng ilaw. Ayan. So ito, magkakasama na sila. Again, we start with light source. Okay? So it produces light. Collimator po is kagaya din ng ating entrance lit pero it focuses the light. Okay? Yun yung pinagkaiba. Pag collimator, it focuses the light towards the monochromator. Pag entrance lit, It limits the light na gusto nating pumasok. Okay? Monochromator to select what wavelength we want. Dito sa example natin, yellow yung gusto natin. So, yung yellow, papunta sa ating exit slit. Siyempre, ito po, tutuloy pa rin yung ilaw. Ayan, di ba? Halimbawa, ganun. So, we can select yellow lang. Papunta sa ating cuvette. Ayan. So, cuvette natin, kung makikita niyo po dito, ayan, mas intense yung ilaw nito. Okay? Sabihin natin ganito kakapal. So, pag tama niya dito sa cuvette natin, yung cuvette, it contains sample and it will absorb light. So, kung mapansin ninyo, mas maputla na or mas mahina na yung ating ilaw na lumabas. Now, we have a photodetector. It measures the amount of light that passed through the sample from the monochromator. And readout device or display, nakikita na natin ilan yung dumaan na ilaw. Okay? Things to consider. Kailangan may light shield po tayo. It is used to protect cuvette from unwanted light that may cause measurement errors. Chromium oxide naman, or didymium filters. We use this to check the wavelength and calibration of a spectrophotometer. And nickel 2 sulfate solution with sharp cut-off wavelength used for detection of stray light. So, para makita natin if may problem yung ating machine. Okay, so we'll cut this lesson into 3 parts. Okay, so this will be the first part of our lesson.